Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My name is Kevin, and for 13 years, I believed my marriage would last longer than anything else I built in my life. I didn't grow up dramatic. I wasn't the type of man who expected chaos or betrayal. I thought stability came from showing up, doing your part, and keeping your word. Back then, Paula felt the same. At least, I thought she did. We met in our mid-20s when everything felt wide open. She worked as a designer for her father's small company, Hartwell Creative, and I was a data analyst at Crescent Analytics. We weren't some movie couple. We just fit. Conversation felt easy. Plans felt natural. Within 2 years, we married in a quiet ceremony with only family and a few friends. Nothing extravagant, just something solid. We bought a modest house in Brookfield. I remember standing in the living room, boxes everywhere, watching Paula spin slowly in a circle and say, "This is where our real life starts." I believed her. For a long time, it felt true. We built routines, late dinners, weekend drives, arguments that never lasted more than an hour. Normal, steady, real. When Nora was born, life shifted, but it was a sweet shift. Then came Caleb 2 years later, loud and impossible to ignore. Parenthood came with long nights and tired mornings, but we handled it like a team. I worked full-time at Crescent. Paula kept helping her father at Hartwell Creative. Money wasn't amazing, but it was enough. Then Gregory, her father, had a stroke. Paula sat in the hospital staring at the floor more than at him. When he passed, something inside her hardened. Hartwell Creative was left without a leader, without direction. Selling it would have given us breathing room, but Paula refused even to consider it. "He trusted me," she said. "I'm not letting everything he built disappear." I didn't argue. I supported her, because that's what husbands do when their wives are carrying something heavy. I didn't know it then, but that moment, the day she stepped into his office and claimed the company, was the first quiet shift in a chain of events that would eventually destroy everything. Paula didn't ease into running Hartwell Creative. She charged into it like the building was on fire, and she was the only one holding a hose. Overnight, her schedule changed. Meetings stacked on meetings. Early mornings, late nights, constant calls. I told myself it was temporary, the kind of pressure that comes with stepping into a legacy. At first, she came home tired but proud. She'd drop her bag on the counter and say, "I think we might actually pull this off." I believed her. Paula had always been sharp, but now she carried herself differently. More assertive, more driven, almost electric with purpose. Her income grew fast, faster than mine, faster than either of us expected. She started hiring staff, taking bigger clients, adding new services. Hartwell went from drowning to expanding, and Paula was at the center of it. That should have been a win for both of us. But the bigger the company grew, the smaller my space in our life became. The kids needed more attention. Homework, school drop-offs, dentist appointments, grocery runs, everything fell onto my schedule because Paula was rarely home before 9. I told myself I could handle it. I liked being there for Nora and Caleb, but Paula started leaning on that support like it was permanent. One night, as I packed lunches, she said casually, "Kevin, maybe you should think about stepping back from Crescent, just for a little while. The kids need stability right now." I looked at her. "My job provides stability." She sighed like I was missing the bigger picture. "Your job can replace you. Mine can't. You know that." It wasn't said with cruelty, but it wasn't gentle either. And once it was out there, it stayed. Within 3 months, I left Crescent. We agreed it was best for the family. Paula thanked me, kissed me on the forehead, and said, "You're doing the right thing." For a while, it felt true. I cooked. I fixed things. I handled the never-ending list that keeps a household standing. Paula praised me to her friends, said she couldn't do any of this without me. But praise has a short life. Once the company felt steady, something in her tone changed. A softness evaporated. Little comments slipped out. "Must be nice having slow days. You're home all the time. Can't you manage that?" "I'm carrying the real load, Kevin." It didn't happen in one night. It was slow, steady, and invisible until it wasn't. The change didn't crash into our marriage. It crept in quietly, the way a house settles at night, until one day you realize the walls aren't sitting straight. Paula stopped coming home at the same time every night. It started with work emergencies, then late client meetings, then industry dinners. Each excuse sounded reasonable on its own, but stacked together, they formed a pattern I tried to ignore. Our conversations thinned out. They turned into schedules, reminders, updates about the kids. Nothing more. When I tried asking how she was holding up, she'd answer with half sentences while scrolling through her phone. One night I said, Paula, we haven't had a real conversation in weeks. She didn't even look up. Kevin, I'm exhausted. Can we not do this tonight? It became her default response. Intimacy faded next. Paula used to reach for me without hesitation, small gestures in the kitchen or before bed. Now she barely brushed past me. When I touched her arm one night, she stepped away like the floor shifted under her. Paula, did I do something? She closed her laptop slowly. I'm tired. That's all. Stop reading into things. I told myself this was a phase, that strong marriages bend before they break. But her phone told another story. She kept it face down everywhere, took it into the bathroom, slept with it under the pillow. When a notification buzzed, her hand moved faster than her eyes. One afternoon, our neighbor and friend, Victor Hayes, stopped by while I was fixing the gate. Haven't seen Paula around much, he said casually. Everything okay? I shrugged. Busy season, I guess. Victor raised an eyebrow but didn't push. His silence said enough. I wasn't ready to accuse Paula of anything, but the feeling settled in my chest like a weight I couldn't shake. Nights stretched long. She'd pass me in the hallway and say, "Why are you looking at me like that?" I'm not. You are. It's annoying. Then she'd walk away. Something was shifting. I just didn't know where the breaking point was yet. The night everything collapsed didn't come with yelling or accusations. It came with a school auditorium, folding chairs, and a dead phone battery. Nora had a band concert, her first solo, and she asked me to record it. Halfway to the school, I realized my phone was at 5%. I didn't think much of it. I turned to Paula in the passenger seat. Can I use yours to film? Mine's dying. She froze for half a second. Then she forced a smile and said, Fine. Just don't open anything. I have work stuff. I nodded, not suspecting anything. We took our seats. Paula slid the phone into my hand, and I started recording as Nora walked onto the stage. Halfway through the song, the screen lit up with a notification. A message preview. From someone saved as Jason M. The text was short, but no normal coworker wrote that to a married woman. Same hotel tomorrow? Last time was worth the risk. My chest tightened. I kept the camera pointed at the stage, but my eyes stayed locked on the screen. I didn't react, didn't breathe. When Nora finished, the crowd clapped, and Paula stood up to cheer. I leaned toward her. Reception's bad here. I'm going to step into the hallway to upload the video to your cloud so my parents can watch. She nodded, not suspecting anything. I walked out calmly, closed the auditorium door behind me, and opened the thread. My marriage ended in the next 10 seconds. There were pictures, messages, hotel confirmations, long conversations where Jason told her she deserved a real man. She agreed. Paula called me predictable, too soft. My hands didn't shake. I didn't cry. I wasn't confused. I just kept scrolling, each line cutting deeper but sharpening my mind at the same time. 13 years reduced to a digital trail. I didn't confront her. Not in a hallway full of parents. Not without a plan. I forwarded everything to my email, then deleted the sent items. When I walked back inside, Paula smiled at me like nothing had happened. Everything okay? She whispered. Perfect, I said. Because now I knew. And knowing gave me something I hadn't had in months. Direction. I didn't explode. I didn't scream. I didn't throw her phone across the parking lot. That kind of reaction gives the guilty exactly what they expect. Instead, I went home, tucked the kids in, and lived beside Paula like nothing had changed. Every calm hour was part of the plan. Paula didn't suspect a thing. She kept her phone guarded, but her routine stayed sloppy. Hotel receipts left in her purse. Calendar invites that included initials she never explained. A work laptop that sometimes synced notifications through our home Wi-Fi. I collected everything quietly. Screenshots, dates, copies of credit card statements. I didn't need every detail, just enough to make truth undeniable. A week later, I drove 2 towns over and walked into the office of Cole and Richter, a family law firm. Attorney Vina Cole invited me in. Her tone was steady, direct. Tell me what happened. I laid it out without emotion. She listened, took notes, then pushed her glasses up her nose. You're in a strong position, she said, but only if you stay quiet. Don't confront her. Don't hint you know. Keep everything normal. You'll file without warning, secure temporary custody, and control the situation before she reacts. I nodded. I can do that. She continued. You need to protect yourself. Run medical tests. Keep records. Separate funds discreetly. When she's served, her first move will be chaos. Yours needs to be stability. That became my focus. Over the next few weeks, I moved like a man performing a role. Cooking dinner, school drop-offs, light conversations. Paula barely looked at me anymore, which made hiding easier. Jason's name stopped appearing in notifications. She probably moved to another platform, but I already had enough. The morning we served her, she was rushing to leave early for a big client pitch. Just as she grabbed her keys, a process server stepped onto our porch and handed her the envelope. "Paula Hartwell?" She blinked. "Yes? You've been served." The color drained from her face. She looked at me like I'd just cut the ground out from under her. "What did you do, Kevin?" For the first time in months, I felt something close to power. Paula opened the envelope right there in the foyer, eyes racing over the words as her breathing turned sharp. She looked up at me like she didn't recognize the man standing in front of her. "You blindsided me," she said. "After everything I've done for this family?" I kept my voice level. "We'll handle everything through the attorneys. Not here. Not in front of the kids." She followed me into the kitchen, her voice rising. "You're punishing me because my career took off. Admit it. You hated seeing me succeed." I didn't react. The truth had teeth. She just didn't know how deep they would bite yet. Over the next week, Paula swung from rage to desperation. One night, she came home hours late, slammed her bag on the table and said, "We can fix this if you drop the case." "Paula, we're past fixing. You're destroying my life." "No," I said quietly. "You did that." She stared at me, but this time she didn't argue. She just walked away. Her mother, Diane Hartwell, called a few days later asking us to come for dinner so things wouldn't get uglier than they already were. I agreed for the kids' sake. Paula insisted I was manipulating the situation before we even stepped through Diane's front door. At dinner, Paula tried to rewrite the story. "He's been controlling for years," she said. "Now he's using the kids to punish me." Diane looked between us, then at me. "Kevin, is that true?" "No," I said calmly. "And I have documentation that will be part of the court record." She knew exactly what I meant. The fallout hit her fast. With the affair exposed in the legal filings, her behavior at work changed. She forgot deadlines. She snapped at employees. She canceled meetings without notice. Whispers spread through Hartwell Creative. Productivity dropped. One major client pulled a project after hearing rumors about professional misconduct. Jason? He backed away the moment things got risky. Calls unanswered. Messages ignored. Paula's late nights stopped. Not because work slowed, but because she had no one to run to. Meanwhile, I focused on the kids. Nora asked one night, "Is Mom in trouble?" "She made choices," I said, "and choices have consequences." Paula wasn't the woman she had been 6 months earlier. She looked exhausted, unsteady, and for the first time since her father died, she was forced to face her life without a safety net. 2 weeks after Paula's meltdown at Diane's dinner table, I sat alone at the kitchen counter long after the kids were asleep. I opened my laptop and typed Jason Miller into the search bar. I wasn't looking for him. I was looking for someone connected to him, someone living the same nightmare from the other side. It didn't take long to find her. Sophia Miller. Married, 2 kids, a quiet social media presence, mostly photos of school events and birthday cakes. I hesitated before messaging her. I wasn't out for blood. I didn't want drama, but she deserved the truth, and Paula and Jason didn't deserve protection. I wrote, "You don't know me, but I think our spouses have been involved. I have proof. If you want to talk, I'm available." She replied within 5 minutes. "Where?" We met the next afternoon at a cafe off a highway exit. No one from Brookfield went there. Sophia walked in looking composed, but her eyes carried a weight I recognized immediately. I slid my phone across the table. "I'm sorry you have to see this." She scrolled slowly. No tears, no outburst. Just a deep inhale, then a quiet exhale that felt like surrender. "I knew something was wrong," she said. I didn't want to believe it. "We both ignored signs," I said. She nodded. "But not anymore." Sophia told me about Jason's sudden business trips, the late-night calls, the excuses about deadlines that didn't match his work calendar. Our timelines aligned too perfectly to be coincidence. "What are you planning to do?" she asked. "Protect my kids," I said. "Nothing else matters." She looked relieved to hear it. No revenge fantasies, no chaos, just order, truth, forward movement. By the time we left the cafe, we weren't allies seeking justice. We were 2 people finally stepping out of fog. And without Jason covering for her or feeding her ego, Paula spiraled further. At Hartwell Creative, staff complained about her mood swings. 2 employees quit. A vendor terminated a contract after a heated argument with Paula. Clients started requesting meetings with other managers instead of her. Jason didn't return to Hartwell either. The moment Sophia confronted him, he folded, quit the consulting contract, cut Paula off completely. Paula lost her affair partner, her control at work, and her grip on the story she tried to push onto everyone else. I didn't have to ruin her. She was doing it herself. The divorce didn't drag on for years. It moved quickly because the facts were clear, the evidence airtight, and Paula's behavior impossible to spin. Her attorney tried every angle: stress, overwork, emotional distance, but none of it erased the messages, the hotels, the timeline. 3 months after the concert, we stood in a county courtroom as the judge finalized everything. Primary custody was with me. Structured visitation for Paula, weekends and one evening midweek. The house was mine, for the stability of Nora and Caleb. Hartwell Creative was hers, but under mandated financial transparency after erratic spending showed up in disclosures. When the judge read the final terms, Paula didn't look at me. She just closed her eyes like she'd been waiting for the impact, and finally felt it. Outside the courthouse, she said quietly, "You took everything." I shook my head. "No, Paula, you threw it away." She didn't argue. Not anymore. Her fallout didn't end with the divorce. 2 more clients left Hartwell Creative. Her staff avoided her. Even her mother stopped defending her after seeing how unstable she'd become. Without Jason, without the illusion of having it all under control, she struggled. She showed up late to pickups, forgot school events, snapped at teachers. The weight she'd ignored for months finally crushed her. Meanwhile, the kids adapted faster than I expected. Stability helped. They knew exactly when they were with me, when they were with her, and what the rules were. No confusion, no tension. I rebuilt slowly too. Took on new clients. Worked from home at first, then rented a small office downtown. Victor helped me set up the space. Sophia and I stayed in contact. Not in a romantic way, not yet. We talked about the kids, court updates, work, the strange quiet that follows when your life stops burning. She understood things no one else could. Sometimes that was enough. Months later, at another school event, I sat in the front row with my phone in my pocket. Not a weapon, not a threat, just a phone. Paula arrived late, sat in the back, didn't look at me. When Nora finished her part and scanned the crowd, she found my face first. She smiled, small but certain. That moment told me everything. 13 years of marriage collapsed in seconds, but rebuilding myself took time. Steady, simple steps. Not revenge through chaos, but revenge through clarity. I didn't win because she fell apart. I won because I didn't. Thank you for watching.